Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another thrilling installment of the podcast Morning Drew. I am your extremely vaccinated host, Andrew, aka Tank, and we out here, y'all. We did it. We got the second stabbing. We got the juice. We did it. So, as I explained briefly in the previous installment of the podcast Morning Drew, I'm going to be taking it easy this week. I don't want to take on too much of a workload when it comes to editing because I'm expecting to feel like shit. I feel fine so far. It's been, at this point, 7 hours since the big prick. So what I have here is a deleted scene, you could call it. It's about half an hour's worth of cut content from the episode I did with my buddy Jon. It was back in episode 8. He asked me a really good question that we, answered, ruminated on, discussed for about half an hour. It did not quite fit into the context of the episode as a whole, but I wanted to hang on to it for an occasion such as this. So I have it here. I'm going to throw it up. I am not going to edit it at all, with the exception of adding this audio to it. So I did give it a once over. There's a lot of ums and hms and uhs, and there's also a little bit of static here and there, and there's also a cat meowing at some points. So you could call it a behind-the-scenes look at the kind of raw audio that I deal with what I clean up, what I have to work with here, because I'm a bumbling fool who don't talk right. So that'll be fun. I do have a few things written here, and I did write a couple of jokes at least, and since this is kind of a weekly outlet for getting these things out, I'll go ahead and bang them out here in the intro. I might do an outro as well, just because it does end soprano style, like mid-sentence, almost mid-thought. But we'll get there when we get there, give or take 30 minutes from now. So first things first, what am I digging this week? Well, I got vaccinated, so that's nice. I have been listening to the album Blood Mountain by Mastodon. Within the first few months of living in LA, I had some friends that I was in the same building as in the dorms, that I was hanging out with, and they wanted to go to like a garage sale outside of Amoeba Music. And I went with them, and there was a bunch of like clearance sale CDs and stuff. And so this is one of the CDs I picked up on that day. I had never listened to Mastodon before this, but they were a band that I saw the name of quite frequently. And I saw this album, and it had cool art, so I picked it up. For the longest time, I thought that I had purchased The Hunter, which is arguably one of their least liked albums. It's different. You know how bands get big and they make a new album and their fans don't like it, and then a decade later everyone decides that was actually their best album, turns out. That's kind of The Hunter in the case of Mastodon. I wouldn't say it's their best album after all. I personally think Crack the Sky is their best album still. I've still never listened to The Hunter because it turns out I never bought it. I bought Blood Mountain. So I stuck that in my car and I've been listening to that. It's cool. It has its ups and downs. It's pretty raw compared to how eloquent Mastodon has become, but I'm listening to that. It's cool. The new Pokemon remakes are coming out at the end of the year. Pokemon Shining Pearl and Platinum Diamond, whatever the fuck it is. And I've never played that generation of Pokemon. I know I talk about how much I love Pokemon. I never played through Gen 4. And so I really want to get my hands on a copy of Pokemon Platinum, which is, some argue, the best Pokemon game made. But I can either get a pirated copy for $15 or I can get a used real copy for $250. So if any of you fine listeners at home have a copy of Pokemon Platinum that you haven't touched and you might be willing to give it to your boy for a fair price, hit me up. We'll see what's up, but that's neither here nor there, but that's on my radar. I would like to play that game. I still haven't even finished Crystal, so I should not get ahead of myself. And lastly, that dude on YouTube who does a cappella versions of video game songs showed up on my YouTube recommended recently, so I revisited his cover of Guile's theme from Street Fighter. Man, It's very good. Do yourselves a favor and revisit that. Guile's theme is one of the best video game songs, period, I might argue. It's very good. It's you know what? I won't even spoil it for you. If you've never heard it, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I envy you and your virgin ears. Go check it out. It's a killer tune. There was that meme a while ago that it fits everything. The acapella version is, in my opinion, the best version, but, I'm sure you can find lots of versions out there. And that's all I got that week. I'm sure I could have stretched that out into 20 to 25 minutes and then told some jokes. Instead, I banged it out in less than 6 minutes. Wow. Just goes to show how good I am at creating content for my listeners. I'm going to tell you some jokes now. I had a pretty good week. Let's see. Today I wrote the joke, people go to Olive Garden for a true Italian dining experience. It's the same way I go to Chuck E. Cheese to see live music. I hate the regional fast food debate. Whether you like In-N-Out, Steak and Shake, or whatever, one thing is undeniable. We all have heart disease. This one is topical. Krispy Kreme is offering a free donut every day for a year if you prove you've been vaccinated. Did you know that donuts in the COVID vaccine actually have the same side effects? Nausea, drowsiness, and pain in your left arm. My job asked me if I was available. I told them, you're barking up the tree. Hold on. I'm not editing this episode, so you'll get to hear that flub. Lucky you. My job asked me if I was available. I told them, you're barking up the wrong tree, guys. You know I have a girlfriend. I love going to parties with my Amish buddy because he won't hesitate to raise the roof. I don't know how many jokes that was, but that's all the jokes I'm going to tell. Those are the highlights. I think I did okay this week. Those are some clever, well-written jokes. Of course, I never win the writing competition because everybody always writes it. There's always a person who's just like, my dick's small and my pussy stank. And it just gets fucking 1 million likes. Everyone loves it. Well deserved because it's hilarious. My dick is small and my pussy do stink. So that's all I am going to do as far as introductions go. So enjoy listening me talk to my friend John. We talk about our time living down here in LA, some of our favorite memories, and then we briefly discuss pet acquisition. I talk about how I got Dwayne and he's thinking about getting his hands on a little guy. And it's just that beautiful, wholesome content that you've grown to know and love from the podcast Morning Drew, the podcast where we talk about self-reflection, appreciation, and joke writing. So, thank you again for listening. Follow me on Twitter at Drew J. Fahey, on Instagram at Tank J. Fahey. Subscribe or follow or whatever means of keeping up works best for you. I love you and I appreciate you. And yeah. If I don't get to it, just remember to drink water. It's good for you. If you don't like it, put a lemon in it. Just put a fucking lemon in it. It helps. It tastes so goddamn good. It's refreshing. All right. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the podcast. Take care. Goodbye.
Well, depending on what we're moving on to, I did have, this might be good for the pod, maybe not.
Sure.
I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here.
Uh-oh.
Having lived together for several years,
all right.
Again, you probably know me. You have known me certainly longer than anyone down here, but also maybe more intimately, having lived with me and others at the time, and also just ourselves. Maybe you've asked me before. If you can think of a question, I will. If I remember that you've asked me, I won't hold it against you. But is there a question that you have never asked me that maybe you've been curious about that you want to ask right here on the pod?
Whoa.
Again, if you say it and I go, oh, well, you've asked me that in 2014, I'm not going to hold it against you just because I remember. But, like, chances are it'll be good topic conversation because it's not like, hey, what'd you have for dinner today?
I did ask you that already. Bangers and mash.
Yeah, I did have bangers and mash. Shout out to my girlfriend, Orchid, who I've probably name dropped more than I can count at this point, but she is lovely. That being said, it also doesn't have to be about me. It can be about the City of Angels, about life. If you want it to be about me, if there's something that you've never known, this ain't my pod.
Sure.
I'm gonna stop giving you conditions. I'm just gonna let you sit on that.
No, you're good, man. It's a good one. Dang. I'm sure there are some that have crossed my mind that I didn't dwell on. I mean, I'll ask this: did you have any at the ready to send my way when you initially had the idea to propose this? Or?
Oh, like I ask you this question and then you ask and then I say, okay, that's great. Here's my answer, and then I say, I have my own question. Is that what you're talking about?
Sure. Yeah. If the answer's no, that's acceptable.
I have one. I have one that I thought of.
Sure. If you're open to opening.
Yeah. It was actually going to be kind of in a top 3.
Okay.
Not to rehash the top 3, so you can keep it to just one if you want. But
yeah, man.
Give me 1 to 3 top experiences having lived in Los Angeles. This can range from small, like had a fucking great burrito, to went to my favorite concert I've ever gone to. Top of the ledge kind of stuff.
Ooh. All right. Well, I'm going back. I'm searching. I'm digging. One that immediately comes to mind is the time we were still in the dorms, and it was before I had formally asked Angela to be my my big titty goth GF before that was a thing.
Shout out to Angela, by the way.
Oh yeah, she's great.
Yeah. I hope y'all are doing well.
Yeah, we're hanging in there, man. We had a spat in IKEA, but she doesn't know that we did. It was a one-way spat. It was a one-way spat. She kept going into the little rooms, and I was trying to find the couches. I was like, "Can you stop going to the fucking room?"
Yeah, we're not looking at kitchen stuff today. Come on, we got to get to the couches.
No, but the honest truth is that she was avoiding the crowds because of coronavirus, and she's like, I'm letting them pass.
I get it.
And I'm like, they're never going to stop passing.
Yeah.
I digress. I love her. She's great. She's been on the pod a few times.
At some point, you are just the salmon swimming upstream at IKEA. It's just part of the gig.
The first memory that came to mind when you asked of top memories, to paraphrase, but
sure.
The first time I went to see the band Ghost, I was getting into the band Ghost. I had found out about them in my hometown. My buddy Sean recommended them to me. Shout out Sean. And I came down here, and I found out that they were going to be in my neck of the woods in Los Angeles. So I jumped online, and I saw House of Blues. I was like, that's in LA. I bought 2 tickets to Paradise. And then I don't know how it happened or when it happened, but I somehow... No, this is what happened. I scrolled down out of curiosity. I like, where are they going after this? And saw another House of Blues in Los Angeles.
I never knew that.
I was like... Yeah, and so I'm like, what? And I look at my tickets, and I had purchased 2 tickets to see Ghost in the House of Blues in San Diego.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, fuck! What I used to do is I would always buy 2 tickets and plan to invite a friend or something like that.
Good form.
In this case, it worked out because I invited Angela, but it did burn me once or twice because the first time I tried that technique was to see a band called And So I Watch You From Afar. And I invited our old roommate, also named Adam, um, and he kind of left me hanging in a way that I decided I don't want to be friends with that guy anymore. Other
That was it.
reasons revealed themselves as time wore, but that was the kind of this camel did not have a very strong back.
Shout out to Adam.
It did
too.
not. It did not take much straw to obliterate this camel. This camel was fucked. So that camel died instantly. But
You could cut this out, but I just got to reiterate that we thought he took his name. He was an alien who took his name because he thought it was the name that he thought people. It was Adam Free Man. Like he was trying to imitate human life.
yeah, like what's the name of the first human? Adam. Okay. it's like what if these people like Free Man? It's like, yeah, I'm definitely not a slave to our overlords for sure. I'm a total free man.
Yeah, exactly.
It's steak night, gentlemen.
It's steak night. Reese's Cups. Sorry.
And so I was still of that habit, buying 2 tickets to stuff. I invited you. You had other obligations.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe I'll invite this girl that I've been talking to. That we've really been hitting it off, and also it's her birthday.
Amen.
So and at the time she also lived like an hour or so away, so she was on the way to San Diego. So I was like, hey, how about for your birthday I scoop you up, I take you to San Diego? And before I was even done typing, she was like, I can already tell what you're typing.
Yes.
Oh my god, yes. And so I did that, and we spent a little bit of time in the Gaslight District of San Diego, which is where the House of Blues is.
Yeah.
And then we went to that concert, and it was a blast. My first time seeing them. It was in the era of Papa 2, Papa Emeritus number 2.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty cool. And then we drove back, and I dropped her, we came back, and I asked her to be my lady.
Your special lady friend.
Oh, yeah, and she said yes. And then we went to a diner, and I got chicken parm. That's right, I did get chicken parm at that diner. Fuck yeah.
Chicken parm.
Oh, dude, that's one thing.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Another side note to all this is in this pandemic, that's one thing I miss more than anything else is going to diners in the middle of the night. That's one of my favorite things to do. And I have a lot of memories of going to diners in the middle of the night. And that may very well also be part of the top 3. If I could lump together times I've gone to diners late at night. But, I'm in the middle of a memory here. Let's not get sidetracked.
LA's got some strong diners. Big time.
Yeah. And I drove over there. And it, I had to, scream Ghost lyrics to keep myself up, which you're no stranger to.
We've been there.
And this was, at the time, it was Infestus Humum was their most recent album.
Sure.
But I was still a bigger fan of their first album, Opus Eponymous. And so I was just, screaming Ritual, the whole time. And I actually did eventually have to pull over and take a nap because I was legit falling asleep at the wheel and my voice was all hoarse.
Yeah. I remember you telling me that the day after. Because you didn't show up the next day, and I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, I parked in front of a CVS. I think I only napped for an hour, if not less. And then by the time I got back to our dorm, the sun was already up, and I don't think I had class that day. And so I just fucking zonked out. And that was a lot of fun. That was one of the first big boy things I did by myself, sort of.
Yeah.
And it was great. And obviously it's the day I had a cool girlfriend, and I got to see, at the time, my favorite band, and I was on my own in college, and it was pretty cool.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Ghost.
Oh yeah.
Ghost BC.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man, before copyright.
Before Corona.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I finally put up I framed, the photos that Meliora came with when you pre-ordered them, or I did at least.
Yeah.
I finally framed them and put them up there, behind my little office area here. If I had video, I would show you.
That's nice.
But the viewers at home, I'm sure, or excuse me, the listeners at home, I'm sure appreciate my, anyway.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I don't have any ghost posters. That was something I wish I had bought at the
Some
time.
fucking ghosters.
Yeah, man.
I'm sure you could find them online,
Yeah, yeah.
but who knows when they'll be back. So that is one of them. It might be number one because it's the first one that popped in my head. I do also really enjoy the many times that we went winging and singing.
Oh yeah, I appreciated that.
Times.
That got a shout out in the MSG episode.
Oh yeah, I felt I didn't want to rub it in, but it was relevant to what we were talking about.
Well, I mean, also in the context too. I mean, we have had our fair share of not necessarily winging, but singing with Mr. Michael.
That's true. Yeah, we went to Barney's with him. That's right.
Yeah, some good times.
And then obviously, I mean, I only came in second place that time. I was in that college stand-up contest thing,
Mm-hmm.
but that was pretty sick.
Oh yeah.
Getting a little bit of a verification for something that I'm pursuing.
Yeah.
And then taking that TV writing class was pretty fun. And was there anything recently that I've really had a memory of? I mean, it's been tough with Rona, you know.
Man. It's tough to express yourself, big time.
But getting to go up and do stand up at the Comedy Store was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Even though it was a super small set, but like I was up there, I did it.
You also inadvertently opened for Bill Burr that time.
Yeah, damn, that was fucking bananas.
That was wild.
That was cool. And Taylor Tomlinson was on that show too. She's kind of blown up a little bit. And like the burning, hot jealousy that I've had towards her and her career skyrocketing, but that's neither here nor there. It has waned. I'm over it. Not that it matters. She's she listens and she's just like, oh, no, obviously that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
I'll cut that out. Yeah, and then I also remember that night I came back from Chicago, and you were planning to hit the town, and you were like, "You want to come?" And I was like, "No, I'm exhausted." And then I went in my room and turned around and was like, "I decided I'm not exhausted enough to not do that."
Yeah. Was that when we went to the Blue Goose?
Yeah, we did a little bit of karaoke.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, that was fun. We hit a couple bars and then we rode the train.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, that was a really fun night.
Yep. Yeah, we've had our fair share. I mean, I think we've had a fair amount of each type of experience in this great city of Angels. We've had, all right, dorm living, getting to know our buds, Geronimo's buffet.
Fuck, Geronimo.
Yeah, had Geronimo's buffet. We got through school. We lived in a. I mean, look, I don't want to dunk on either of our current living situations, but I just want to say that yes, it was cramped. It was 4 guys to a 2-bedroom apartment, but I mean that Devonshire apartment was nice. Like I took
nice.
I took it for granted at the time.
Yeah, I agree.
We had a pretty sweet setup there. We had just like a killer ability to just go to the grocery store or the movie theater or a Carl's Jr., a bunch of fast food right there. And then living with just each other, we had, a fair share of like going out. We got to a point where we were less immediately close to stuff, and we were more in a situation of, all right, we got to kind of venture out to make routines for ourselves.
Yeah.
And the Fulton apartment was not wonky, but it was just there wasn't anything super immediate unless you were a psychopath and wanted to go to the scene.
Oh, fuck off.
But Glendale apartment, we really got into that. The 244 apartment, we really got into the situation of singing and winging and singing. Excuse me, the correct order. Yeah, that was some awesome memories, and there was the occasional time, that it was like, all right, I kind of would do it a little bit more than that. Let's go somewhere, do something.
Did I ever share with you the time I winged and singed with my hometown buddies on my birthday.
Was this recently, 2020 or 2021?
We were still. I'm certain we were. Yeah, we were still. It was the month that I moved out.
I think
So
I think
I
we were
went
just
home
in
and winged and
transition
singed, and
period.
then I got home, and that same weekend I went out and we got this apartment that I live in now.
Right. Yeah, we were just in transition period at that time. For the folks at
Um,
home, we don't hate each other. I think it just got to this situation
we
where
both moved in with our girlfriends,
exactly
basically.
we wanted to see our sweet girlfriends every day.
Yeah, and then
Um,
for me, I needed to. Money was a little tight, so.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
That was another
but
thing, is I was definitely tired of living above that smoke smell all
yeah,
the
that was
time.
rough.
Anyways, not to digress, but you probably did at the time, but I do not remember that. Please divulge.
So my buddy Noel, who I love, and he's one of my favorite people on this earth. Uh, he has his quirks, as we all do.
Sure.
Um, I went home. In the group chat, I was like, "We winging and singing, boys." And so at the mall, there's a thing called Round One. It's expanded a bit. There's Round Ones down here now as well. I think there's one
Yeah.
that just opened in Burbank just in
Yeah,
time to be shut
yeah.
down.
I could not believe it when I saw that. Yeah.
There's one that's in our hometown of Salinas, and they do karaoke there. And on the way to the mall is Buffalo Wild Wings, a place you can sit
Yep.
down, have some wings with none other than the boys
The
and
boys.
gals.
The B-dubs.
And so I hit the group chat. I'm like, so what do you guys say? We go to the B-dubs across from the mall, and then we go do karaoke at Round One. And Noel chimes into the group chat. You think B-dubs is better than Wingstop? And I go, no, I think I like Wingstop more, but the B-dubs is right by the mall. He's like, well, why are we gonna get wings at an inferior wing place? We should go to the place with the better wings.
Sure. Valid question.
And my buddy Antonio chimes in. I agree that Wingstop is better. My buddy Michael, who is living out of town at this point, is like, can we please go to B-dubs? It is twice as far for me to go to Wingstop. And Noel goes, Wingstop's better though. His thing. And so I'm like, for me, hey man, it's fine by me because the Wingstop happens to be up the street from where the house I'm staying at and grew up in and my parents own
Sure.
is. You could say my house.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I guess I'm fine with Wingstop. I was just trying to do all right, we can go to Wingstop, and everyone's like, yay, Wingstop. We go to Wingstop. I get my wings. My buddy Antonio shows up. He gets his wings. He's got another person with him. Noel shows up and sits at the table. And I'm just like, hey man, yeah, we did it. We're at Wingstop. He was like, yeah man, Wingstop, so much better than B-dubs. I was like, yeah, are you gonna order something? He's like, I already ate.
Phew. Wow. Wow. Look, I had a great time listening to your buddy Noel's pod, but whew.
I love him. He's one of my favorite people, and he's great. But again, he has his quirks, as we all do.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I'm not going to judge a man for eating when he's got to eat, but don't.
His logic still holds up. Why are we going to get wings at an inferior wing place? We should get them at the place where there's better wings.
Very true.
That doesn't mean I'm going to eat the wings.
Yeah, it's like, maybe don't bring it up. But hey, I get it. Don't. I wasn't there. Whatever. That's tough.
But then we went and did karaoke, and it was fine.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good day overall. It didn't rain on any parades or anything, but in that moment when he said that, I was like, I'm going to store this away and tell this as a very funny story to my friends at a later time.
On my good pod.
Yeah. I didn't know I was going to have a podcast at the time. But
Sure.
I can't think of a question to ask you. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
That was an excellent question you brought to me, though.
Sure.
Not just the top 3 memories, but the question I've never asked you before. Do I have one? It doesn't have to be a big one. It doesn't have to be a fucking.
Yeah, man. It could
What were
be.
you? What were you doing that day? That blah blah blank. Um. Um. Does your new place allow pets?
It certainly does.
Are you
We
gonna
are.
Are you gonna get a pet?
We're definitely looking at one. We are.
Nice.
Having just coming back from this trip, I believe I mentioned. We are trying not to rush into anything, but I think that probably the second that we start like actively going out and looking at we're definitely looking at getting a pup.
Nice.
Once we go out and start looking at them, it's going to be really hard to be like, that's not the one, because any pup that you get to hold and look at and feel within your own arms. I mean, I don't know how many times you looked at your lovely cat Dwayne before you adopted him, but I know for myself, like I'm gonna and probably for Orchid too. I will probably have a hard time going, looking, petting, touching, absorbing the energy from said pup without saying, "Cool, that's the one." If I'm not like ready to do it, so I think right now we're doing a lot of prep work to like get going on that.
Yeah, I feel it. With COVID, we didn't really get to like window shop as much. It was a lot of it was virtual, so we were just looking at the websites. And have I told you the story?
No, because I mean, you got Dwayne after.
Yeah. So I'm looking at a few different sites, and like I see the name Dwayne Johnson next to a cat, and I'm like, "Oh, funny name." And I go to a different site, and there's a different cat I'm looking at, and I'm going through the info, and they're like, "Oh, this cat is great. Super sweet, loves to cuddle, type 2 diabetes, no hands, but such a sweetie, loves kisses, blind in both eyes and its nose. It's blind in its nose. We didn't know either, but it's blind in its nose." And I'm like, I don't think I'm equipped to take care of this. And then what picture is next to that one? Dwayne Johnson again. But this time there's a typo, so he's Dwayne Johnson. I was like, Dwayne Johnson, what happened here? And I click, and it's his picture of his beautiful face, and he's just like so stoic, just staring at it, but like so, damn, such a fucking cute face.
Yeah.
And it's just like, Dwayne is 1 year old, chatty little guy, but he loves to follow you around, and he's funny, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Dwayne, my boy. And I show it to Angela, and like at the time, I was just like looking at cats, but I had told her I want a cat, and so she was like, is that the one? Are we getting that one? And I'm like, there's no reason why not. Okay. Yeah, we'd already gotten permission from the landlord at that point. And yeah, like I emailed the lady. The lady's like, "Oh, I know Dwayne. I rescued him." And me and the coven of veterinarian ladies that I live with, like, nursed him back to health after we found him like broken.
Damn.
Yeah, apparently he got like really badly injured, and so his previous owners just like ditched him in like a cage or a, what do you call it, kettle or whatever.
Very good origin story.
And he was out there for like a day or two until the lady who happens to be in charge of Cat Adoption LA, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I know what it's called, but I'm not going to say. And they nursed him back to health. And so he's just like super well trained and super well socialized already. And so we had a Zoom call with the lady who was fostering him. And she was like, "This is a very good cat. I want to keep him, but I can't." And I was like, "I'll fucking fight you for that cat, you son of a bitch. I'll fucking kill you." That's not true. She was very nice. And then, yeah, we went to pick him up, and as soon as we were in the room, it was just like, yeah, it's my cat. Like, the energy was immediate. Like, even he kind of looked at us and was just like, "Oh, hey, guys, you're here. Let's go home."
That's my cat.
It was funny. Like, we put the little carrier down, and he just immediately jumps into it. Wow. And he's just like, "Yeah, let's get out of here, guys. Come on, let's go home." And even the lady was like, "Oh, no cat has ever done that." He just jumped right in. He said, "Let's go home, guys." And we were all, and I was like fucking crying and shit. Yeah. So, you know, it could be that he's just the first cat I came in contact with in person, or It could be that he's like my fucking Eddie McDowd brother from
Yeah.
another life or something. But yeah, definitely be careful because you might end up with like two brother Saint Bernards or something.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing we've talked about is it's similar to housing in LA is like as soon as you start looking at places and it's something you like, you have to be prepared to like sign the lease like that day or that week.
It's scary,
like,
dude.
So it's definitely in our mind that like we want one, but I think there's still, I mean, we got to get finished moving in as well as finish, maybe not just finish, but start the process of like adopting, getting the bed, we have stairs in this apartment. So getting maybe like a doggy gate or something, what's the
Sure.
situation? Luckily, Orchid's trained a dog and raised a dog before, and that dog is currently with her parents, so we may, for training purposes, just steal her now parents' dog for a weekend or something, just to get used to like, all right,
Sure.
let's the easiest and best ways to take him out and stuff. But I think sometime in March is probably the time that we're looking. It's on the brain. Like it's there.
Fuck yeah.
It's really really wanting to get it, but we're just getting used to living here. So I think once we settle down a little bit, we'll definitely get there.
For sure, man. That's exciting.
Oh yeah.
Gathering the supplies before having the animal is definitely weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like cats in particular, like every site is so careful to point out that like every cat is different, so you should get a variety of things.
Yeah.
Because like they are probably not gonna like any of it.
Yeah.
And that's like, he likes a bunch of the stuff we got him. We actually kind of nailed it on one or two things, but there is one bed that he'll never go in, and it fucking pisses me off because it was like a $30 bed that Angela and we saw it and we were like, this is so cute. He will love this bed.
Yeah.
And now it's just a fucking $30 doorstop.
Yeah.
And so I'm a little salty about that one, but he likes everything else.
Yeah.
Mostly. But
he's claimed your office chair.
I actually had to kick him out. He was actually staring at me right now. He was mad at me.
Well.
Yeah. Because like he was sitting in it, and like I coaxed him out with some treats, and he was like blindsided. He was like, "Treat now? What?"
Oh yeah.
And he was like, "Okay." And I gave it to him, and I sat down, and he just looked at me super disrespectfully. He was like, "You bitch."
Oh yeah.
And so he's sitting in his little cat tree behind me right now, just like brooding. But
this ain't my spot, dude. This ain't it.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess that's my question that I've never asked you before is, are you planning to get a doggo?
Yeah.
And the answer is probably. So that's exciting.
Yeah, it's on the brain. Ready to do it. But
fuck yeah, dude, that's exciting.
Yeah.
But we've been gabbing.
We've been chatting.
I think now's as good of a time as any to jump into some of these jokes that I wrote. How do you feel about that?
Hey, man. Hit me
Can I
up.
tell you a few jokes?
The last little bit I have to say.
Sure.
No, you're good. Is the last little similar to maybe actually cut this out. Restart your bit about starting the jokes, because I realize if you ever do the roommate pod down the line, I don't want to ruin this bit for that moment. It's the going down the anecdote about how much I enjoyed Halloween Horror Nights that time we went with Michael and his parents.
That was a good one.
That was a good one, and I feel
I'd
like
put that up there. Yeah.
Yeah. So restart your jokes segment. I will not interrupt you.
You're good, man. I apologize that I didn't ask you.
No. I was thinking about it, and then as soon as I started to say it, I realized this ain't the time. Another time.
All right. So, I'll reiterate. And that's the end of that. So, thank you again for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. My bonus behind-the-scenes content with my buddy John. Shout out to John. He's a treat. Give him a follow as well. I'll link it. And yeah, tune in next week and every week forever. I love you so much. Thank you. Take care. Goodbye.